To you from Pressbox Overtime. I'm streaming live to my Twitter account as well as my YouTube channel. And then once this is posted, I will put it on my Pressbox Overtime Facebook group. All are public, free to join. And for some of you all that I haven't met but have joined recently, I certainly appreciate you following and your support. We're ramping up for high school and college football, two of my favorite things in all the sports world. So I'll be coming out probably another week or two. If you joined me last year on my Pressbox Overtime Facebook group, I did a weekly show on high school and college football, looking to try to do that again. I did some interviews. I've already reached out to some people to get those interviews started. And might do some live streaming football games. We'll just have to see how that goes. But I just wanted to spend a couple minutes real quick. Haven't been on live in a long time, so getting back in the groove. But two things happened both yesterday and today that were huge news in the world of sports. And I just wanted to personally touch base on each of them real quick. First one is the passing of Bill Russell. To me, he's an icon, not in just basketball, but in the whole sports world. And even though I grew up late 60s, mid 70s, it didn't take me long to figure out just how much of a giant this man was, not just physically, both on and off the court. We know how involved he was with civil rights and the equality of all men, et cetera. And then one thing I remember about Bill Russell and watching him as I was growing up and even as an adult is never saw him get mad. He just seemed like that stately ambassador, that man, when he walked into a room, I can only imagine that people just stopped what they were doing and listened to what he said. What was that old commercial, E.F. Hutton, when Bill Russell speaks? But I just always thought the world of him, just watching him both on and off the court, even if he was doing announcing or commentating, et cetera. He just had that grace about him. But when you look at him as an athlete, you look in a 15-year span, 2 national championships at the University of San Francisco. I think I heard today they were the first team to go undefeated as a national champion. They lost 1 game in 2 years. I should have looked up to see who that was. So he won 2 national championships. In 13 years with the Boston Celtics, he won 9 titles, 8 in a row. Listen, we know that's never going to get repeated. They can hardly repeat nowadays. 8 titles in a row, 9 overall as a player, and then 2 more titles as a coach. Also a gold medal at the Olympics. So in a 15-year span, 11 NBA titles, 2 NCAA titles, and a gold medal. So that adds up to 14 huge titles in a 15-year span. So hats off to you, Mr. Russell. We're going to miss you. You've made an impression that's going to last forever. And I'm just blessed that I still remember when you were playing and got to see you throughout the years and all the great things that you stood for. And like I think I mentioned on some of my posts, we lost a great basketball player, but we lost a better man. So what was the talk on ESPN and all the other channels today? I'm a big proponent. I love watching Get Up. I think it's probably the best sports show on TV. I like First Take. I don't like it as much as Get Up, but I watched most of both of them today, doing errands, whatever. I think the most disappointing thing, because I know the Deshaun Watson decision was announced at 9 o'clock this morning. To me, the biggest disappointment is it took away from Bill Russell being talked about today. That should have been the big news. Deshaun Watson should have been second. But in the world we live in, it didn't happen that way. There was a lot of good things on today about Bill Russell, and I watched a lot of them. But the Deshaun Watson decision took over. So a couple of things that I walked away with. Just like R.C. Clark and a lot of the other guys said today, we don't know what happened. Nobody knows. He kind of compared it to the Rice situation where I think it was his wife that he pulled off, grabbed her by the hair off the elevator. We had a video of that, so we knew what happened there. We don't really know what's happened, but even like Stephen A. Smith said a year ago, if I remember correctly, when you got 21, 24, 25 women that are making accusations, chances are there's something there. Don't know at what level, but there's something there, unless we are to believe that 20 plus individuals scattered all over the country somehow got in cahoots with each other and made the story up. Again, we may never know. I'm not here to judge one way or the other, but a couple of things that stuck in my mind. I found out today that last week the NFL Players Association said that they would not disagree with whatever decision was to be made, which, like they said on TV, it leads you to believe they know it was coming out. So if you got a guy that's completely innocent, which he has said all along he is, and you've already said you're not going to, which I would think they would have talked to Mr. Watson and his camp before they came out and said, we're not going to disagree with any decision. I'm thinking two things. One, I'm thinking you already knew what the decision was, and you just said, hey, it sounds like it's fair to me. Let's just go with it. And second, I can't help but think that somebody's sitting behind the magic curtain going, hey, they only gave you 6 years or 6 games. Yeah, let's take that. With everything else, let's take the 6 games and move on. So, I struggle with, why did you decide before it was publicly announced that, hey, we're not going to fight it unless you thought it was a lot less than you were thinking it was going to be. And with everything else going on, you're okay with that. Some people raise the question today, if you're completely innocent, why did you pay off? I think it's 21 or 22. I think he paid off 2 or 3 more today, or maybe that's not the right term, settled. But he settled with a few more today. Again, I'm not here to judge one way or another. It just does seem odd that they're not going to fight it, that somebody that's completely innocent. I get it. I've had friends that have managed at Walmart. Somebody says they fell and nobody saw it, wasn't on camera. Walmart would rather just write a $10,000 check and say, here you go, leave the premises instead of going to court. Maybe that's what this was. Maybe after signing a $250 million guaranteed contract, maybe you sat down with your financial planner and said, hey, listen, let's give them all this amount. Go away. We don't have time. Otherwise, if it goes to court, it's going to cost you more. And let's play. I don't know. But professing your innocence and settling with all these people, kind of sends a mixed message. It was also reported that there's going to be people, on both sides of the discussion. I'm sure there is. But that during the practice today up at Cleveland or wherever they're practicing at, people were cheering for him, clapping, hollering. He's going to be the one to lead us to the playoffs. So I don't know if it's going to make that big of a difference when it comes to putting people in the stands at Cleveland or the ratings when they're on TV. I don't know. But a lot of things, and really what comes out of this is that a precedent? So if all of that stuff came out, I should have done my homework. There was a baseball player about a month or 2 ago. Girlfriend said that altercation happened. He said it didn't. No proof, no going to court, no nothing. And baseball, I think, hammered him for 6 months or a year on one accusation that never went to court or anything. And now we have 20 plus accusations settled outside of court, and he gets 6 games. What's the next guy going to get based on what he did? So again, just my thoughts from a couple of big stories today. I wish the Bill Russell story had gotten a more priority. Maybe the Watson thing, maybe wishing it would have come out tomorrow, but it is what it is. But I do want to end it on a positive note. Bill Russell, love you, my man. You did great for the game. Watching those old clips was phenomenal. And but more than that, you were certainly a man whose footsteps we would all like to continue to follow. So hope you enjoyed a couple of minutes about some big news breaks that came out today. Again, join me on Pressbox Overtime Facebook group, Twitter, and YouTube. I'm in the works now, getting some weekly shows coming up, talk about football, maybe get some interviews, maybe stream some games. We'll just see how it goes. But those are a couple of quick thoughts on a couple of big news stories that happened today in the world of sports. Hey, thanks for joining. Hope you enjoy Pressbox Overtime. Keep those comments coming, and we'll talk to you soon.